Hello everybody and welcome back to Kerbal Space Program, where last episode we started work on getting another mini builder out to our construction site on Minmus, and we are going to continue to bring that in at this point. So we will go ahead and warp towards Minmus. Hello Minmus. Excellent. We also discovered that I am still incredibly competent, so that's always good to know. And we are going to go ahead and burn retrograde here at T-minus 6 seconds. So let's warp towards that. And we will burn that right about now. Wonderful. So this will get us into orbit. We're running slightly low on fuel, to be sure, but it should be okay. Yeah, that'll do. Excellent. And we can now see our orbit here. Now, our orbit inclination is definitely a bit weird. We can actually see, however, that we want to burn, like, over this way, and maybe a bit retrograde. Yeah, a fair amount retrograde, actually. To land somewhere over... not like that. Give me that maneuver node. Thank you. Land somewhere over here. Where's our bullseye going to be at? I don't currently see it. I have no idea where our bullseye is going to be. But something along the lines of this would be what we'd want. Approximately. So that's going to be in about 20 minutes. We'll go ahead and warp towards that, and we will, of course, head up to that maneuver node, rather. Excellent, and this will be at about T-minus 2.5 seconds. Now I can see here that we're probably going to want to burn a little bit differently, but that's okay. We should have more than enough DV to make this happen. So we're going to go ahead and burn this now. About like... so, and I'm going to overshoot it a little bit here. We can now see where we would actually end up landing. So I'm just going to continue burning a little bit normal here. Okay. Yeah, this is more the direction that we want to burn here. We more want to burn radial in right now. Let's just dial that in a little. Excellent. Now, this is our correct location, right? That's the grip pads there. I just want to double check this. Can't actually see because there's grip pads in both locations. Grip pads and grip strips. Okay, we're going to switch to this and make sure this is correct. Let's see here. I believe this is the wrong location, is it not? This is definitely the wrong location. Okay, so that's good to know, for sure. We're going to switch back to this guy, and we're going to head over to the correct location. I do not want to land this at the wrong location yet again. So we are, of course, going to hop in over here, and let's see what direction we need to move this in. Not that way. About prograde, but not quite prograde. Like, up over this way, I think. Like, in between radial out and... I was going to say retrograde, but that is actually not radial, that is normal. Okay. So we should probably actually just bring our periapsis back up a little bit. Yeah, something like this. That'll be fine. And we'll just go ahead and warp to that periapsis. This is in darkness right now, and I'd rather not land it in darkness. But we certainly can bring our apoapsis down anyway. So we can go into retrograde here. We should still have more than enough DV to land this thing. Absolutely no concerns there. And let's go ahead and pull this on down. Excellent. To something along the lines of that. That'll do. Okay, and this might get a little dizzying unless I move out. I'm going to zoom out here, and we are going to time warp this quite a bit. We need to get this onto the day side. Just because I don't want to land in the dark, because it's hard to see on YouTube. So we'll do something along the lines of that. That should be the final orbit that we need. Okay, let's take a look at this. We are wildly off. This is not shocking to me, of course. Okay, so we'll bring it in something along the lines of that, and then retrograde a fair amount. Wait, this needs to be prograde? What? No, I think I've confused myself. I've definitely confused myself. Okay, so we'll bring it in something along the lines of that, and then we'll just move it up there. Something along the lines of this should do. Okay. We'll align for that, and we'll warp to it. And then once we get a little closer, we'll do our final approach calculations. I say calculations like I'm actually, doing something. Something quasi-useful here. That is not something that I am doing. Just for the record. Okay, so we'll go ahead and burn this right about now. Excellent. And that'll do. And then I want to flip this around to retrograde. Don't even need this maneuver node in theory. And let's see where this is... Whoa, hang on. Retrograde. Orbit retrograde. Thank you. Let's just see where this is going to end up putting us. That's a reasonably good angle. Yeah. Yeah. I don't hate it. We'll put it about there, and then let's go anti-normal here. Actually, I think based on this, we probably want normal. No, anti-normal is correct. My gut was the correct one. Okay, so something along the lines of that is what I want for now. Next, we will go ahead and warp over here. Wow, this feels really low to be warping like this. Okay. And we, of course, want to go surface retrograde here. There we go. And let's just warp over to about here. Our suicide burn is not going to be accurate. Not at this time. But that's the reason why I did a fair amount of overshoot here. So that will be absolutely fine. That is a flying grip pad. I don't know what that is. Maybe that's the space station? Yeah, that might well be the space station core. Okay. But that grip pad should not be flying. Well, let's just make our way over here. And the question is, how high will we be over this? The answer is not tremendously. And that's okay. We don't have to be tremendously high. We are, of course, going to want to arrest our horizontal momentum here, which is most of our current momentum. And we'll bring this in along with our secondary constructor. And that will be just fine. We are probably... Actually, no, we're not going to want to stay on surface retrograde. This is not coming down in any hurry. And we can see here we're currently about 2 kilometers above the surface. That is plenty of pad space. Wonderful. Okay, so where is our marker right now? I'm going to start this burn pretty soon. We're moving pretty quickly horizontally. So let's go ahead and begin it now, I think. There. Excellent. Bring that on in. Okay, and we'll do something kind of like this. Okay, we can now see that we want to head off over this direction. Oh, not quite that way. Can we not? Can we not go this way? Please? Thank you. I want to go over this way right now. There we go. And then we'll go to surface retrograde, and we will bring this on in. I'm not sure exactly where we're going to be landing here, but it's pretty close. We may want to adjust that a little bit later on. Our suicide burn is currently going to be in about 20 seconds. That's barely before our impact, and I'm probably... That's a good position. That's a real good position. Okay, let's go ahead and kill that momentum for right now. Yes, this is moving our final position, and we're going to want to not do that exactly. But I wanted to set our horizontal speed to being something very specific. Okay, something a little bit more like that. Should be fine. And we'll bring this on in. Suicide burn in about 15 seconds, but I'm not going to do it quite that thoroughly. And I don't like that at all. Yeah, I would much rather we be a little closer in than this. So we are going to allow that, and we're going to push it on in over this way. I don't actually want to land on that, so we'll do something like that. Surface retrograde, moving on over. This would be landing basically right on the pad. And actually, that'd be hilarious, but no, we're not doing that. I want to change this position again. Over here, please. That I'm comfortable with, I think. No, this moved, actually. Maybe I'm still comfortable with this. Yeah, I think I am. This is a reasonable position to land. Okay. Let's just let this come on in. Oof. Okay. There we go. Yeah, that'll do. Fantastic. You can see the wonderful progress that we've made over here off camera. I may be spending all of my time on the pre-patch for Burning Crusade Classic right now. It's a bit of a problem. We're going to have Heldis go ahead and EVA. Fantastic. And the thing that I wanted to find out with bringing Heldis along here, if we can turn our RCS on, is if we have Heldis here assisting, and then we switch over to here, which it doesn't seem to want to switch to. There, we can do it that way. We can have Bill also EVA. And Bill will come on over as well. And I want to see if we can now manipulate these bits over here. So we'll just go ahead and land here. And let's see. Yeah, Kerbal's assisting 1. And we can't currently manipulate this tank. That may still be too heavy. However, what about this over here? This is still considered a Kerbal assisting. Now it's not. Okay. So we would have to come over this way with Heldis. That's fine. I'm not actually expecting this to work, to be clear. Yeah, due to part attachments. And we can't move this tank, I think, due to mass part mass. Actually, we can test that. I'm going to make a quick save here. And I'm not actually going to let this happen, but we are going to just really quick here, hack that gravity down to 0.01. Yeah, we still can't remove that tank, so that weight isn't anything to do with it. That's all I wanted to know there. I was actually, if we were able to remove that tank, I would have just put it right back, because that's not the way this should work. But we're going to head over here with Heldis. In fact, we should probably fly over. Any moment now. There we go. Excellent. Okay, I didn't expect to hit the ground there, but it's all good. Heldis just going for a bit of a tumble. And then Bill is going to head over himself. As soon as he can remember how to work his jetpack anyway. This is the bug where he is stuck in a particular orientation. Which makes things interesting. Now it seems to be fixed. Fantastic. Okay, so we could work on this. This isn't the most engaging thing, though, is it? Like, it's really not. And we've been working on this for a long time. So I don't think I'm going to do that right now. I think instead, we're going to head back to the Space Center, leave them to that, and I think we need to begin planning for our Eve mission, because we know that we're going to need one. We absolutely know this. Oh, hello, Lightning Bug. Maybe if we go into the space plane. Ooh, that's exciting. Maybe if we go into the space plane hangar. And then reload it up. Yeah, there we go. That's more like it. So we can take a look here. Attach a new part to a satellite in orbit. New surface outpost on the moon. Blah, blah, blah. I don't think any of this is anything that we're super likely to do. But we should, certainly, look at our current contracts here. We need to bring a volcanic rock from Eve. Now that's an impact ejecta, highlands, or craters biome. Okay. So that means that we need to land a Kerbal on Eve and bring them back. It's a little complicated, to be sure. Planting a flag on Minmus. Oh, that's something that we should actually do right now. But we have a lot of things to do on Eve. And I'd kind of like to start planning for that, but at the same time, without the Minmus pad able to refuel the station for Minmus, that means that we're going to have some potential issues with that. Because I am planning to use this system pretty heavily for the actual Eve mission, which is why we've been working on this so extensively. We'll go ahead and plant a flag. Complete that contract. Fantastic. That's a good amount of cash. And then, yeah, this is fine. We will go ahead and take that down so that it's not cluttering this area up even more than it already is. Okay, back to the Space Center. I do want to check what our current status is on communications around Eve. Oh, this again. Okay, let's check the tracking station for Eve. And let's see what we've got. So, around Eve, I believe we do have a satellite here, right? Yeah, we do. It's a Comsat Mark III. What's that got on it in terms of communications? Let's see. It does have a relay antenna. Okay. Yeah, that's a thing. I think we should probably have one in a polar orbit as well before we do this. I do not want to lose communications as we're doing our Eve mission, if at all possible. So let's go ahead and do that. Let's put up a second ComSat over Eve. That's going to take a little while to get there for sure, but we can get it started and work on other projects in the meantime. So let's go ahead and open up our ComSat here. And that would be the ComSat Mark III. Excellent. This guy right here. Now we know that this has enough DV to get to Eve, and it should have plenty for a polar orbit as well. We'll just go ahead and launch it as is. I'm assuming that I was not incompetent in the past, even though I definitely am now. So let's see how this goes. Should, in theory, be fine. This is a fairly chonky fairing, but I think we're okay. Let's do this. Get that nice heavy lift action going there. A little bit slow off the pad, if I'm honest. But I mean, this is a pretty heavy payload, and these SRBs will burn for a good long time. Let's go ahead and begin our turn here. Oh, okay. We should probably attempt to do a roll here. About like so. Excellent. That does indeed make things a fair amount easier. And we will proceed on down towards that prograde marker, keeping an eye on our apoapsis height. Excellent. That was maybe a bit of an overcorrection there. I'm going to hold here until our apoapsis height is like 50 kilometers, and then we'll just go for the prograde marker. Excellent. Just holding right on that 45-degree marker. That should do the trick. Our SRBs are going to be running out in about 20 seconds. That's still a lot of burn time there. Okay, let's go ahead and head to that prograde marker. Fantastic. We'll just continue burning until our SRBs are out. We're in orbit right now, or not in orbit, but in space. I'm going to get rid of our... Actually, we're going to continue burning it. Just so we have that separation. Excellent. Yeah, that's a little bit high, for sure. But that's not shocking to me. And we'll just do something along the lines of that. We can't actually... I probably should have upgraded this. We can't actually lock to the maneuver node, but that's okay. We'll go ahead and deploy our fairing now. Wonderful. And we will move on down towards that maneuver marker. Excellent. Now, it'll be a little while before we actually burn this, of course. But we're going to be in space momentarily, and then we'll know how long we need to burn it for. That'll be great. We are now in space, and we know that it needs to be for 46 seconds. So we will, of course, burn this at T minus 46 seconds. And we'll just warp towards that. And we burn now. Fantastic. Off we go. So we will, of course, be heading to Eve. Our first mission is going to be probably to get a gravity assist and escape via that mechanism. We'll go ahead and ditch that booster, though, and we will use this Terrier to get ourselves into orbit proper. Just adjusting our heading a little bit here. There we go. About another 400 meters per second here. I would physics warp this. I'm going to try it. I'm not 100% comfortable with this. Yeah, we should probably back off on that for a moment and reorient here. Yeah, look at that wiggle. Okay, so we are going to be in orbit momentarily, and that's completely fine. We are in orbit now. We'll save this 26.2 meters per second. Our next mission, of course, is to head out to the moon, which will be sometime around here. And we will be looking for some form of a lunar gravity assist here. Like this. That periapsis is inside the moon, though. So that's a little too efficient. A little too efficient. I mean, this works, in theory. Do we care about coming out retrograde? I think we actually do. So let's not come out retrograde if we can help it. Bring it around over this way. And see about just making some minute adjustments here. That would do nicely. So burn time of 1 minute 29 seconds. So that should be T minus 44.5 seconds. We'll go ahead and warp towards that. Excellent. I have definitely missed it. Okay. Well, we may have to burn a little bit extra here, but we should have more than enough fuel to make this happen. So we'll just burn this here. And I'm going to physics warp this burn. We'll see how this goes. It may or may not go poorly. Yeah, it's going okay, I guess. Let's bring it off the physics warp now and move up to this position. Excellent. Yeah, and that should get us to our gravity assist here, in theory. So, something along the lines of this. Wonderful. So that gets us out of the Kerbin sphere of influence. We should, of course, set Eve as our target here. And at this point, I think we just need to warp. However, it is time to put a cut in here, so I'm going to go ahead and do that. And next episode, we will get our flyby of the moon going, and I will remember to extend solar panels. We'll get our flyby of the moon going, and we will head off to Eve to put this into a polar orbit. You can leave your offerings to the engagement gods in the form of likes, comments, subscribes, and bell ringings, and I will see you all next time.